Good evening everyone and welcome to Gundam News. And this week again, we're starting off with some absolutely breaking news that nobody saw coming. In December, for 1,760 yen, we are getting the mass production type Zaku 2. The kit that we of course all saw coming from a mile away once the Char Zaku 2 was released. And there's no surprises here. It's virtually the same as Char Zaku 2, it just comes with a different backpack, and of course with the normal grunt head that does not have the commander antenna on it. Now I do hope they will still be including it, even though the pictures don't show it anymore, because if I remember correctly, that commander antenna was molded on its own little area that can be easily excluded if they want to. But a commander antenna is like one of those things that I feel every Zaku kit should come with. They also didn't specify which type it was, but considering the fact that they're giving it the same weapons as the S-type, I'm gonna go ahead and assume that it's just a normal F-type. And I hope that one of the next ones will be the J-type, so we can get some ground-specific equipment as well. Also in October, we're getting a bunch of Waterslide Decals for 550 yen a piece, the high-grade movie version Gundam 00 Generous Purpose No. 1, the high-grade movie version Gundam 00 General Purpose No. 2, one for the high-grade Nightingale, one for the real grade Force Impulse Gundam, one for the real grade Zeong, and finally one for the real grade High New Gundam. In November then, we're getting the 22nd lineup of the Gundam Converge figures. There will be 7 figures for 550 yen a piece, consisting of the RX-78-2 final battle specifications, which means that it comes with 2 bazookas instead of the beam rifle, the RX-78 3G3 Gundam, which also still comes with the battle damage part that is included with the RX-78-2 as well, the Vanilla Gym, the Buster Gundam, the Zaku 2 F2, with what I always called either the B-type helmet or the Stahl helmet, but apparently it's called the Fritz helmet. And then finally, we're getting the Gelgook Jaeger in normal colors and in Shin Matsunaga colors. Of course, these will, as always, be available in a box of 10 to ensure you get at least one of each. And then the last one that I forgot to include last week is the entry-grade RX-78-2 US Gundam American version, or American type. This thing is currently slated for an October release, and well, the only thing I really can say about this is they really should have included more weapons with this thing. On to the stuff we could get this week then, with the most impressive one definitely being the Metal Robot Damashii KA Signature Zeta Gundam, with an equally impressive price tag of 16,500 yen, around 150 US. And with those sweet markings, the inclusion of all of its weapons, and a metal reinforced transformation mechanism, this definitely looks like something that Zeta Gundams will absolutely love. And to add some extra flair to your action figures, we also got the Robot Damashii Side MS Effect Parts second version for use with the anime Robot Damashii figures. It'll set you back 3,850 yen, around 35 US. And then for the folks who prefer building their figures, you got the Full Mechanics 1/100 scale Calamity Gundam. And well, I think I've already said everything there is to say about this thing, except for the box art, which looks suspiciously like that of the RE100 line, so why even bother making it a different line if you're going to do everything in your power to make it look like a part of that line to begin with? But whatever, on the box art we can also see the Raider and the Forbidden, so here is to hoping that we're getting those in the same line as well. And then finally, throughout this week, Mobile Suit Ensemble Part 18 was released throughout Japan in various Gashapon machines. One spin is 500 yen and can get you either the RX-78-1 Prototype Gundam, the Silver Bullet Suppressor, the regular Zaku Warrior, Lunamaria Zaku Warrior, the Gigan if you are really unlucky, and a weapon set that consists of the Beam Javelin for the RX-78-1, and a Beam Tomahawk, Blaze Wizard Pack, Gunner Wizard Pack, and Commander Antenna and extra shoulder shield for the Zaku Warriors, or the Zaku Phantom if you decide to use the Commander Antenna, and the extra shoulder armor. And then in other news, remember China's freedom? I'm talking about the real-life Gundam statue, of course. They released the making-of documentary on Bilibili, so you can go watch that if you want some cool footage of that thing. Just keep in mind, of course, that the entire video is either in Chinese or Japanese with Chinese subtitles, but I would say it's still interesting to watch nonetheless. Another thing you can check out then is the promotional video for Gundam's upcoming pachinko game, P-Fever Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn. I'll have a link down below as well for that thing, although be warned, it's not super interesting to watch. There's just a lot of flashing lights, so if you have epilepsy, be sure to watch that in a small screen and in a well-lit room. And now we go back to something that I couldn't cover last week. On June the 15th, the Gundam Conference was held, where they discussed a large amount of topics concerning Gundam, of course. The most important one being strengthening the franchise. And their first pillar is a strategy to create global buzz surrounding Gundam. These are things such as the Gundam live-action movie, the new Gundam Seed project, and not just being focused on Japan, but also being released overseas. And going forward, this means that they will continue doing big things to bring the franchise overseas. A few of the things they mentioned here are opening Gundam bases around the world, and even their plans of making a new Gundam game for esports, and specifically the North American esports scene. More details will be released at a later date, but I really wonder what kind of game it's going to be. Like, I feel that if it was a versus game, they would have announced it in a slightly different way. And of course, their final big buzz creator are those giant Gundam statues. And even though they've only just completed the Freedom in China, they're already planning for the next one. Now, more details will be unveiled at next year's Gundam Conference, so for now there's nothing more we can say about it. I do really wonder which one it's going to be though. On to the second pillar then, that is their strategy for domestic revitalization, and these are special events held in Japan itself, so not really relevant to us. And then their third and final pillar is really good news. They will be focusing more on targeted things to appeal to certain demographics. And don't worry, the demographics we would actually want them to target on. For example, Gundam Build Real is for people in their 20s and 30s, Hathaway's Flash is for people in their 30s and 40s, and then the recently announced Gundam Breaker Badlog is going to be focusing on gamers. So going forward, it's going to be really interesting to see what other demographics they're going to be focusing on. And then the final thing they talked about was Gundam X sustainability, which they also called the Gundam Universal Century Development Action, or GUDA for short. And basically they want to transform Gundam and its characters from intellectual property into social property. In other words, they want to use them to bring awareness to various social and environmental issues. The main example they of course used is their recycling initiative for Gunpla runners that I also talked about in a previous Gundam News segment. So quite the noble cause really, and this is something that Sunrise has used Gundam for in the past, so it's cool to see them continuing that and now even like bringing it more to the forefront. On to the Gundam Apparel news then. Do you have trouble sleeping? Well then, Bancote has just the thing for you. Introducing the Char Custom Duvet Set for 8,800 yen, the Char Custom Floor Pad for 4,400 yen, a Char Custom Cushion for 3,850 yen, and Char Custom Slippers for 2,970 yen. This bed set will guarantee that you sleep 3 times better than in your normal old bed. And for those of you who want, you can also get all of these items in regular colors, except that they don't come with a guarantee that they'll give you a 3 times better sleep, of course. Everything will be released by Bankore in September. From Cospa then, we're getting a tactical belt with either a Xeon or 08th MS Team design, and you can get either one of these in mid-October for 4,180 yen, around 40 US. Or in early November, you can get a foldable umbrella, again, either Xeon or 08th MS Team design, which will be very useful if you plan on going to Japan during the rainy season. It promises to be sturdy, comes with a bag to store it in, and will set you back 2,970 yen, a little under $30. Over at the Gundam Café at the Gundam Square then, we can now finally order a McDaniels or McDaniels burger. I cannot believe it has taken them this long to finally give us the true McDaniels experience. And the thing is, it's not like they never had burgers before. Like, from as long back as I can remember, they've always had the Slegger burger, which is still available at the moment, alongside the Bright burger as well. Like, seriously, as a Gundam fan, there should be 2 things that immediately come to mind when you're thinking about hamburgers and Gundam. 1 should be Bourbony Wiseman, and 2 should be McDaniels. And then the third acceptable answer is, of course, that one image with Bright eating a hamburger, but, you know, that's mostly a meme, which I guess might not be as popular in Japan, so that's fine. And hey, they do have a Bright burger, but, like, Slegger eating a hamburger always struck me as a bit weird. And then the final thing we'll be covering today is the Gundam Café Summer Festival that will be held at all of the Gundam Cafés starting July the 2nd until September 5th. So some of us might actually make it, depending on how the situation goes there. First of all, our 7 main characters chosen for this event are Domon and Master Asia from G Gundam, totally understandable. And then from Gundam Seed Destiny we have quite the interesting lineup, shall I say. First up, there's Atheron, Izak, and Heine. Okay, so far so good. And then we have Rei and an overly happy Shin. Like, I can understand why they went with these characters, but I just find it a bit surprising that they didn't include Kira and Lacus, because they do everything they can to put Kira and Lacus on stuff. Like, they are taking part in another event already, but I mean, that also goes for Atheron. But hey, good news for the fans of the characters who were picked instead. Of course, this means that every character gets their own special menu items, special drinks, collectible coasters, and of course, a bunch of merchandise for us to buy. And the coolest thing is, without a doubt, the King of Hearts Champion Glass for 2,200 yen online, or 2,530 yen if you get it at the Gundam Café, where there is a drink included. And the way they do it is, they give you the glass itself with the drink, and then you get a separate glass to actually take home with you. You don't take home the glass that you drink out of. Like, that's just that's property of the Gundam Café itself. Then there's also regular glasses for 1,650 yen or 1,980 yen with a drink, same deal as with the Champion Glass. The lineup consists of the Destiny Gundam, the Legend Gundam, the Infinite Justice Gundam, the Slash Zaku Phantom, the Guv Ignited, the Hyakushiki, the Gundam, and the Char's Zaku 2. In addition to this, you can also get small magnets for 385 yen, bigger ones for 495 yen, an acrylic keychain for 880 yen, a temperature-sensitive King of Hearts mug for 1,848 yen, which also looks really nice, a smartphone stand for 1,430 yen, muddlers for 495 yen, and finally, acrylic figures for 990 yen each. And that has been all for this week's Gundam news. As always, a big thank you to the Patreon supporters. I hope everyone watching has a great evening, and I'll see you all next week with more Gundam news.